All right, all right, all right. Okay. We're gonna start now, I guess. Sixth period. We've been doing this fourth and fifth. So those of you who have been here know what's up. Those of you who have not been here, turn your cell phones off. Don't be that guy.
Or gal.
Or gal. Sorry, it was a blanket word. Furthermore, be nice. Cheer when people do well, don't boo when they're not doing well, and boo the judges because who cares if they don't give a good score. Furthermore, snap, clap, cheer, chug, do whatever you do to make people know they're doing well up here. And then the slam, I think we all know how it works, a couple minutes of poetry per person, and then they get scores, top and bottom are dropped, and then we average them. So, yeah, just be good people and we'll be fine. We haven't had any problems so far, but apparently we'll kick you out if you're not a good person, so don't.
I will do the kicking out.
Yeah, Megan will. She's an enforcer. Okay, so how are we starting off?
We do sacrifice.
Okay.
So you should do
how
that.
do we hold this for me? So we do. Use this way. You know I like to walk around. You know I like to walk around.
Well, yeah. You know.
So we do sacrifice poems, which is just somebody doing a poem that kind of has an icebreaker at the beginning of every period, so I decided to do mine. And I wrote this just for this occasion, and it's really about something important to me, a big part of my life, I guess, so I really wanted to dedicate this to the class of 2013 and all my peers. So, yeah. Remember back in August, coming in, no fear, another year, oh dear, oh, let's get to it and do it, get through it. Then one semester passes and we're like, screw it. And homework got me salty, not clearly. They didn't hear me. I asked them to spare me, but they assigned a pike made of work to spear me. And just to put it fairly, odd parents don't act so merry about the homework that the light and load we carry. Like, sweetie, did you do your homework? Barely. And it's tradition to a go-getter to go get your acceptance letter from the dean. I never met her, but to us there's nothing better. So we set sail on a scholarship, clutch out and kick it, and cruise down the coast like, I got a golden ticket. And it's official when your triple B's turn to triple C's, because all you want are triple Z's. But alas, it's not that easy. No, it's not so breezy. You're taking your APs like, for sheezy money's, you signed up for how many? Are you trying to skip undergrad entirely, or are you just inspired? Like, I hope that they admire me, and we do, but could you settle down just a little bit? You're making the rest of us look like we got senioritis. We're some of the brightest. I mean, I'm done. It took all my energy just to write this, so I'm superseded by the me that's super needed, and I'm not Superman, so I just weeded out a few of the things that were weighing me down, so I could finally breathe, because I'm nearly drowning. They tell me to maintain some good study habits, but we get it done quick and dirty like muddy rabbits. And senioritis is so symbiotic that you give it your time and it takes you out from psychotic, robotic in your own pocket to the point where you can't stop it and you just give in and pop lock and drop it and pocket all the unnecessary negligence. You piggy bank your brain. You're saving your intelligence, and now you're conscious of your prior conscientiousness, and suddenly trying is framed up as pretentiousness. And you realize senioritis is not symbiotic. No, it's parasitic, corroding your mind like it's acidic, and it is up in your brain, coursing through your veins, and you're losing control and it's taking the reins, and you think to yourself, I mean, technically a D's passing. Because you got senioritis, yes, you're one of the brightest. Asking one question, how can you work the lightest? Looking forward to college, like, hey, what's your major? Well, right now my major's breaking out of this cager. Did you not realize the real world is right there? Oh, I did. I just thought that I might spare myself from growing up at real responsibilities and entering civilization with no civility. Because the future is right on the horizon. The summer is the sun. It's time that it has risen, and you look in the mirror and you're met with a frown, and it makes your rising sun frown too and go down, because you think of your friends and how they're leaving your town, and right as your nose gets all red like a clown, you realize everyone in college would be a lot cooler than those guys. But you see them in person and your eyes start to rise and well up, and your memories pour in droves, like, remember that time you left your phone on the stove? Or freshman year, we were obsessed with that hottie. Or junior year, we bonded and we buried that body. What? Were you not there for that? Oh. We had a lot of good times as well. But now we got senioritis, and we're some of the brightest, and I feel worth my weight in gold, no thanks to King Midas. And it's high school, so we're the oldest of the babies, and it's so cliche you can hold on to your maybes, or all we got left is graduation. Taking pictures, Instagram flexing, and next year starting from the bottom, so we're gonna be freshmen, and life keeps going faster and faster, headed to the next chapter, and it's so damn expensive, let's hope it's not a disaster.
Show's over. Shut it down.
Yeah, James.
So now, judges, if you could raise your score. Some of you are more proactive. Kara, I can't read that.
It says 100.
What's that?
I know.
Okay, well that's cheating and illegal.
I also can't read what math says.
It's a 10.
Oh.
I can't read what the... I'm gonna assume they're all 10s or over 10, which is illegal. So, round of applause for our sacrificial poem. We're gonna get it started. So on deck we have Brian Hamilton, but up first on the mic is gonna be Sean Coleman.
Ooh, give it up for Sean!
Hello. I don't really have a name for my poem, but the reaction when I've told people that I want to kill myself either goes two ways. One, they smile at me, say they're sorry to hear that, and go about with their lives. Two, my personal favorite, they tell me that I'm wrong. As if a conscious thought within my conscious brain in this conscious world, somehow a thought that plagues me every day, a ghost that haunts me with my own face, a thought which I hate to no end, somehow doesn't exist. How's that for making me feel better? Speaking of feeling better, why is it that people think you can cure depression just by looking on the bright side or having a smile, as if the daily regimen of antidepressants and weekly therapist trips somehow don't measure up to a simple smile? See, cured. Thank you guys. But I'm not cured. I'm still sad. Night after night. Night after night. It gets horrible. Some nights I can't think, some nights I can't stop thinking. There are nights when I get so lonely where I can only find comfort in a hospital room. And my mind likes to play tricks on me, no matter how many amazing, how many loving, how many wonderful people are around me. I can only find a friend and solace in a razor blade. People like to keep track of their lives with numbers, whether it's a test score or an odometer. I have different numbers. 126 stars, 6 failed attempts. And despite all that, 6,552 days that I've made it. Do you know what that makes me want to say? I survived! I am here, I am alive. And while I may not be happy, I'm on the road.
All right, judges. Scorecards up.
Speed, not accuracy.
Exactly. So we have a 9. We have a 9. We have another 9. And another 9.
And a 9. And a 9. And a 10. All right, on deck is Anaí Herrera, but...
Coming up right now is Ryan Hamilton.
My poem is called The 10 Commandments. Everybody's beliefs are developed through personal experiences. Thou shalt not bear false witnesses to the fact that religion is a source of unbeknownst hate. It as well as to love, morality, and the ability to appreciate our world, regardless of all its unexplainable and confusing indecencies, from drug addiction, murder, and disease, to wars raging in faraway lands. Even though thou shalt not kill, you kill in his name with malicious hands. This world is often sick and twisted, and believe what you will. Religion can also be the seed of good, not just the seed of ill. For I remember the Sabbath, though I do not partake. I hold other ideologies, ones of an intellectual make, because my beliefs are not etched in stone, but rather etched in bone, and I don't care if you believe in reincarnation of past souls or Adam and Eve. I can get along with you, be your friend, even if you prefer Adam and Steve, because we're all people who just had different lives, and your personal preference isn't a reason of mine to detest or hurt you or to see you as unfit, to sit beside me as a brother or a sister, though I must admit, using ideologies as weapons in war or saying his name to settle a simple score is perverse, and I will not condone it. For thou shalt not steal the lives and the names of whatever lord of any you derive, because regardless of your beliefs, you know what's right and what's wrong. It's essential to the good of this earth that we all get along and sing the song of understanding and respect. so there might finally be resolved to this unnecessary conflict that has plagued the world since the dawn of our fathers and their fathers and their fathers, and before that, just endless slaughters of men. Just because somebody wouldn't pray beside him, he would rather lay in the ground beside them as a pound of flesh and a mountain of hate from these misunderstood faiths. I will believe what I will, and you believe what you will. Just leave it at that, and don't try to fill my head with your own religion and faith. There's a different belief for everyone, and that's no reason to hate. And someone can believe in more than one God, because to them, that's what's bona fide, whether they worship graven images or false idols with pride. For thou shalt not covet resentment of others, but honor thy fathers and mothers. And a world will bloom of peaceful coexistence between all beliefs, from Muslims in the Middle East to the long-forgotten Indian chiefs.
Okay.
All the fails.
Okay. I see you.
Judges, do your thing. You're very bad at holding.
Those are definitely
One
numbers.
job, Kara. What are you doing?
We're tag teaming.
No, you're tag teaming.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not allowed.
We got a 9. A 9. A 10. A 10.
A 9. A 7. Sai gets a 10. And one last 9.
So on deck we have Jessica Levin, and right now we have Anahi Herrera.
A little bit too tall. I used to admire you. I wanted nothing but to be with you and to be like you. I admired you for your strength, for your wisdom, for your compassion. I felt your callous hand full of strength, full of power, but I thought, what good was it to you if it only made you vulnerable? It made you vulnerable to the greed of the rich white man who shackled your hands to the earth and exposed your back to the fury of the Arizona sun. It made you a slave. I admired you for your wisdom. You let me venture into your mind where I found ingenious ideas, thoughts worthy of the king's wise men. And immediately, I wished I had not heard them. I wished I had not heard them because they stabbed at my chest every time as I realized you don't belong here. You don't belong in this world of poverty, in this world of struggles, in this world where your only virtue was your work ethic in the fields. I do not want your ideas. I do not want your brilliant thoughts if they will only be buried and hidden in the very earth you tilled. I heard your words full of love and compassion, but you know what I heard? All I heard was foolish hope. The drumming of your heart and the joyful song of your soul left me baffled. Where is the hate? Where is the rancor? I asked. I asked again and again until one day I heard your whisper. It said, I buried my thoughts into the earth because I knew one day they would grow into strong trees. I knew that you would be willing to pick from their fruits in the summer, and I knew they would bring you great satisfaction. I see your skin is now wrinkled and your strong back is now slightly hunched as we sit under the fruit tree, our usual spot. I pierce the skin of an apple and wipe the sweet juice from my chin, and I hear your whisper again. It said, you will go off, far from these lands, far from these trees that I planted and watered and grew. But you will always remember that part of you also ran your fingers through the moist earth, that part of you was also sunbathed, that part of you was also whipped and chained, but you were never, ever a slave. Now, if we know we're not slaves, then why? Just why do we continue to act as if we were? I'll tell you why. Because for so long we've been listening to the wrong whispers, the ones that with every word you poor, ugly Mexican, they've made us believe that our hands are to be shackled and that our backs are to be hunched. Well, I'm here now because it's your turn to listen to my whisper. Toma de su fruto. Toma de su fruto, because Our abuelos, our abuelas, our mothers, and our fathers have had their thoughts, their hopes, and their pleas buried in the earth for far too long. The seeds that they sowed have long since germinated and sprouted and grown, and now it's our turn. Now it's our turn. Solamente extiende tus manos hacia el cielo y toma de su fruto.
Nice. Good poetry.
Yep.
All right, so who we
Let's see
got?
how good.
Judges, let's see how good, indeed. Those are
Is-
definitely numbers.
Oh. Are you not?
That was the tag team.
Tagged? Okay.
That's not a thing.
Don't tell me that.
Anyway, so we'll start over here.
9. Of course you gave me the 9. 10. 10. 10.
Fourth 10. And a 9. Ooh, and a 9. From both of them, because they're tag team.
That's ridiculous.
Unbelievable. Or is it an 18? No, it's a 9.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So next we have...
Okay, well, let us welcome to the On Deck Circle, Tenacity Remington.
Oh, yes.
And coming up next, though, is Jessica Lehman.
Dear College Board Association of the United States of America, who do you think you are? What gave you the power to create such a malicious threat, such an unthinkable beast as standardized testing? What did we, the students of America, ever do to you? The standardized testing is not a way to measure standards. It's not a way to test our intelligence levels or evaluate our cognitive abilities. It's become a way to determine our values as human beings. Maybe it was supposed to work. Maybe standardized testing was supposed to be a good way of comparing us students to one another as if we were apples in the grocery store, seeing which one of us was less bruised, which one of us was worth more, which one of us was better. But things have changed since then. Standardized testing has evolved into a method of stamping price tags onto the foreheads of every single student in America, because the numbers on those price tags will determine our futures. The numbers on those price tags doom us to a fate known only by God himself. The numbers on my price tag could mean that Gonzaga is already placing the stamp on my rejection letter. But can't you see that there's a problem here? Newsflash, high school students across America are spontaneously dropping dead. Cause of death, extreme exertion. How's that for college readiness? Now, I just have one final question for you. If standardized test scores are our price tags, then what gives you the right to determine which of us belong in the shiny glass valuables case or on the clearance rack? Thank you. All right, scores up. So we have a 7. We have a 9. We have a 10. And we have a 9.
And we have a 9, a 9, and a 9. All right, on deck we have Megan Sanders.
And coming up next is Tenacity Remington.
Alright. Hi guys, I'm from Iowa. I'm very clearly kind of a white girl, but you know, whatever. So,
From where I come from, there is humidity, cow tipping, and endless fields of corn. No, seriously, like you're driving through and it's like corn, 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 corn. Oh, look, a tree. Corn, 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 a cow. It's very exciting. The snow in the winter is feet deep and dangerous. And the floods, they leave houses demolished with mold festering in all the corners. Needless to say, I come from a very different place than here. And being dropped here, I was a fish out of water. I was drying out on the sand and dying in the heat. I'd gone down the rabbit hole and arrived in a place that was barren. It was brown and gray and sharp, and every single thing seems to have evolved to make you bleed. My sister and me, we were soft pink and squishy at 4 years old. We were fresh from the heartland with our knees knocking and our lips trembling. But we grew from the desert. We grew from monsoon rains in the summer and hose water the rest of the year round. We were battered by spines and stingers and venom and the harsh sun. Then we were mended by creosote and aloe and comforted by chewing on mesquite pods. We were confronted with snakes, toads, scorpions, spiders, Gila monsters, and hawks. We were polished by the hot July winds, sandy and brittle, that blew through us like we were paper. We were shaded by the mountains that stood above us like we didn't even exist. We learned true fear from stories of La Llorona and El Chupacabra, and comfort again from warm summer nights spent sleeping in the busted-up pickup truck near the stables. We managed to appreciate the multitude of stars in the sky that we haven't seen since. We learned how dangerous it can be to play coyote and howl at the moon. Our skin turned brown from the sun and dirt, and our lips, dried and cracked, ceased to tremble. We went from cowering afraid of thunder to surfing through flooded washes on the board we broke from underneath your bed and never told our parents about. We climbed through barbed wire and lost clothes and single shoes. We found out what it really means to be sent outside until dinner. We burned the soles of our feet on hot rocks until we developed calluses so thick not even goat heads could pierce them. We grew up and we grew strong and we grew brave together. And then you left, to go back to that winter wonderland of soft grass and humid summers, with the air that smothers you and pulls into your lungs and makes you feel like you're drowning above ground because everyone else is happy and adapted and they don't understand how beautiful a dry heat in summer can really be. But you do. So now you're the lizard we tipped into the water and almost let drown. When you left, I was stripped of every lesson I had learned and every scar that was my armor. The calluses wore away and my skin faded back to pink and I became afraid. But me in the desert, we grew back together and now we miss you. Woo, poetry, yeah.
All right, all right.
Why did you decide to come out? Okay, you're not like that, but under the curtain. Okay, bye. Okay. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to correct the scores on the scores. Three of you are not very good at this. We have an 8. Another 8. A 9. A 9.
A 10. And a 9. And an 8 from these two.
We're booing the numbers, not the people.
Oh yeah, no, the people. They're these two.
Except for Matt, you can boo him because
Bring it on. Bring it on.
he can take it because he knows it's not true. I don't know.
What do you say, Matt? Okay. Next, who's on deck first? We got.
Move the paper.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so we have Galen and Morgan on deck, and right now, Megan Sanders.
Woo!
Hi everyone. Alright, my poem is called The Title I Make for Myself. Look at me, Mom. I'm all grown up, freshly 17 and walking on the world like I own it. not stopping to ask permission, just grasping to control it. You see, I solved all those puzzles I was given as a kid, from the questions I saw in the lessons you taught, to the riddles I pondered in the cartoons I watched. I have my solutions, I found my answers. Don't ask me how, but I know what I need to now. In fact, I know what it feels like to run from my fears in this life. Trust me, I've done my fair share of choosing flight over fight. First from the dark and how it could swallow me whole, then from the light and how it showed me what it meant to be alone, and now from the world as I step forward to my future unknown. But I also choose to face those fears, no matter the cost. And it's the fears who are running from me, it's them who are left scared and lost. And don't tell me that I'm wrong, that I'm still a child, because inside, it's not the amount of experience I own, but how those experiences have shaped me would show that I am not young anymore. And it's time for you to let go. Don't you worry about me, Mom. I stopped grasping for your hand a long time ago. At the time when you started to worry and I started to see that life doesn't always go the way you expected it to be. What really happens is something you can't explain, and that's okay. Because half the fun is the mystery and solving the puzzle of who you're supposed to be. Sorry. Then as the pieces fall into place and you start to see this wild picture, you wonder if life will always be this absurd of a mixture. In fact, I think life is supposed to be a recipe for difference. And if you don't see what I mean by that, Google the word life and see what you get. Better yet, let me tell you that life, according to Google, is the condition that distinguishes plants and animals from inorganic matter, including the capacity for growth, reproduction, functional activity, and continual change preceding death. But who said Google always had to be right? I see life as the beauty that lights up every child's face, as the sense of adventure one has to use to get through this place. Life is not meant to be a question hanging over our heads as we wait for an answer, but instead, life is a definition to which we write our own words. Words that cannot be found on any page, even the ones you search for by pressing enter on a keyboard. So as I step away from you and into my life, I'll leave you with this one last word of advice. If it's my story you wish to read, be prepared for an epic in which I define myself in every way I see fit. And though you might be included in a footnote, it's time for me to own the page. And I have no doubt that soon you'll come to see my life is an open book you are just dying to read. Thank you.
Fantastic job, Megan. Let's see what the judges think. All right, well, starting with a 7. But then there's a 9. And another 9. And another 9.
And a 9. And a 9. And another 9.
Alrighty. On deck, we have the lovely Miranda Toner. But up next, we have the
Galen Sumita Ross and
Morgan Whiting Hill duo.
So our poem is called Ball on a String.
My teacher told me to comply with the system, to follow the system because it was the way to success. She showed me a world without inaccuracies, well-planned, easily defined, simple and direct. A world with people as puzzle pieces, with the wealthy at the top and the poor, well, some are below, where I would find my place through a system of well-established, well-developed testing that my teacher assured me never failed.
My teacher put a ball on a string. Well, actually, I did, but she helped me because she understood the value of creation. We, along with my friend and his intellect, became a team. Unstoppable, unflappable, unfazed by society, scrambling like ants beneath our fortress not of solitude, for we were not alone. We were the Wonder Twins, but there were 3 of us. We were the Fantastic Four, -1, but missing nothing. We were the critics of the universe, and we had no need for the mindless indirection of colonial insects.
Ants do not scramble. They follow distinctly prescribed paths determined by their efficiency, with no regard for individual thought or freedom, because they understand the importance of the place in the world. Their society is formulaic, simple and direct, perfect for survival. There is no room for enemies of the paradigm, radicals, intellectuals, protesters, thought-provokers, anyone with a ball on a string.
Well, my nemesis are the average Joe, the conformist high school student, the manipulative businessman. They run by under their umbrellas of lies, seeking shelter from our brainstorm. Our thoughts, our ideas, our notions of joy rain down on them like a monsoon sputtering truth. Our cascading dreams of what could be become their inescapable reality.
Reality. They say that reality is stagnant, tangible, non-complex, black and white. They say reality is nothing more than what is right in front of us. But sometimes I think...
Ball on a string, hurtling towards an empty head, her shield of falsehood useless against our fiery joy. Rope taut, unable to stretch, unable to wield its own brute force.
Then is society a world of monotonous machines filled with greed and alienating cooperation?
Society could change.
Our cascading dreams
could become a reality.
The mindless indirection
could become coherent individualism.
Instigated by a ball on a string.
All right, judges.
See the scores, though. All right, you wanna go? Turn it off, sorry.
We got a 9. We got a 10. We got an 8. We got an 8.
We got another 8. But then we got a 9. But another 8.
All right, on deck is Daniel Woodruff, but give it up right now for Miranda Toner.
Metaphorical road. Life is just one giant cliche. Well, I say that life isn't just an inspirational quote. It can't be summed up in some simple little phrase. They say, take the road less traveled. But my life isn't a metaphor, and plus, I have no sense of direction. So traveling down some metaphorical road of life may not get me very far. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. But no one ever mentions that there are restrictions. Being yourself, creating your life leaves you confined and constricted. What society expects from you gets in the way of yourself, leaves you restricted. I know where I want to be, but I have no idea how to get there. Go where the wind takes you. But hasn't anyone ever noticed that the wind changes directions every 5 minutes? So I'm going to carve my metaphorical road from point A to point B. I'm going to do it my way. Some days, I just want to tell life, hell no. I'm not going to let you tell me what to do. And then the next day, I'm forced back into the straitjacket of society. C'est la vie. That's life. Well, what if I have a different definition of life? What if life has nothing to do with roads and inspiration and simple little phrases? Life is feeling your heart pounding in your ears. It's feeling the tears stinging your eyes and burning down the back of your throat. It's laughing until milk comes out your nose and singing as loudly as possible in a crowded room because you can, because you want to. It's being bold and feeling lost and getting stressed and having hope all at the same time. Life is feeling, life is expression, life is confusing, a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions turning you in different directions so you feel like you can't take it and you just might explode. And then everything stills and quiets, and you feel a moment of peace. Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass, it's about learning to dance in the rain. So I'm going to go dance. I'm going to stumble through life's twists and turns, and I'm going to go out there and meet that storm with my head held high to feel the rain on my face. I'm going to stumble along my metaphorical road, even though I have no idea where I'm going. Because, c'est la vie. That's life.
Poems.
Poetry. All right. Judges, you ready to do your thing?
Put the numbers up. Let's see them. Okay, you start off, Meg.
All right, we got an 8. We got another 8. Can I just read all the other ones that aren't 8s so I don't get booed? We got a 9. And jumping over here, we got a 9. And a 9. You can get booed.
We have an 8. And another 8. So average out. We got our final performer on deck, Jocelyn Mata. And next up we have
Daniel Woodruff.
Hi, I'm Daniel, and my poem is called The Beauty of Alzheimer's. From the moment my Ebola was diagnosed, I had planned the rest of her life out for her. First, weeks would become months, days would become weeks, and hours would become days. Plans would become frustrations, and memories would become deja vus, and dates would become arbitrary numbers used by people who either remembered enough to care or cared enough to remember. Second, she might have issues with my name sometimes, but I would be okay with that. And third, neither of us had as much time as we wanted. But Maya Ball remembers growing up with her father in Ruby, Arizona, and learning that when her friends asked for money, she should give it to them, because they wouldn't ask if they didn't need it, and if they need it, they just need ask. She doesn't remember falling in her hallway and getting the ambulance to take her home, where she was diagnosed with cancer for a second time. But she remembers diagnosing herself with a fever that would go away in a couple of weeks. She remembers going to the waterfalls of Iguazu and helping a stranger to the hospital, speaking Spanish for her the whole way. But she doesn't remember the water that fell from her eyes when her husband cheated on her. She does remember her husband cheating on her, but never without mentioning how she raised 2 little Latina girls and sent them to college, which is 4 times as many as her father sent to school. So that's pretty good. She remembers to tell the nurse every time she sees them how proud she is of her grandkids, and how she's going to make them play music at her funeral. But she forgets that that might be a reality we have to face sooner than we want to. She doesn't remember that she's been in the hospital for 34 days, but she remembers the 4 months she spent in Mexico making new friends. She may not remember dates, and she may not remember plans, and she may not remember some memories. And I can't tell if it's because she doesn't remember enough to care or cared enough to remember. But so far, she hasn't forgotten my name. Thank you.
Yeah, good job, Daniel.
Yeah.
And let's see what the judges have to say about that.
All right, I think that's
It's fairly unanimous.
straight 9s. All right, so our last performer before free open mic, that thing.
I like your hat, Sabina.
Thank you, I like your tie. So our last performer is Jocelyn Mata. Yay!
Right, left, breathe. Right, left, breathe. A lifeless being, no thoughts. Like a Barbie doll that isn't right, not skinny enough, not curvy enough. Bootylicious ain't an option. Right, left, breathe. What do I want? More importantly, what do you want? Because that is what's truly important. Right, left, breathe. Distractions surround, preventing from achievement. Nothing is effortless. Fight, fight, stop. pause for dramatic effect. I just wrote a poem about life, so stereotypical, as stereotypical as life itself, filled with uselessness the way we all feel. Right, left, breathe. Who am I? What am I? Who are you? What are you? These questions that only the mind can answer. Right, left, breathe. Not so lifeless after all. All these thoughts that filled my mind every second of every day. Right, left, breathe. Right, left, breathe. Thank you.
So that was the last participant in the competition itself. Okay, to speed things along and to get through all the open mic people we have that want to slam, judges, can you show us your scores quickly? All right, we got a 9.
A 10.
Woo! An 8. An 8. An 8. An 8. And another 8. All right, so that was you. I was like, what was that? So now we're going to start off our open mic. We have a special guest. The coordinator of the Tucson Youth Poetry Slam, Enrique Garcia, is here to share a piece with you all. So please give him a warm welcome.
He's really, really good.
So yeah, I don't go here at all, but I was invited and I thought I'd check you guys out. You guys are amazing. And just a quick announcement, this Saturday we have a Tucson Youth Poetry Slam, much like this one, but you guys really packed the house. We kind of have like a little cafe, so I encourage you all to come out if you guys really like this poetry stuff. It's on at Bentley's House of Coffee and Tea on Speedway and Campbell at 5 o'clock. Be there or be square. Ryan. All right, so let's start this. 16 things in a walking stick made from agave. 1. I finally blew out the candles around our shrine. We have grown like the green in my grandmother's garden. We have seen what love does when we don't tend the roots, when carelessness gets the best of us. 2. I nap while records spin slower than a day's passing. The floor is a platter, the body is an entree, and I'm about to be eaten by a thunder god who lives in my turntable. Spin, says the beast, spin. 3. In my belly, there's a family of 5. A father who works my lungs, a mother who forages butterflies, and 2 children who play around my vocal cords, and a grandmother strung about the things I eat, some dreams and low-fat stories. It won't get me anywhere, she says. Daydreams are for children. Men need to have plans and palms ready to build. If she only knew about the worlds I destroyed in my fists. If she only knew about the words I refused to swallow as a child. 4. There's a roadrunner camping beneath my car. It stares into space, wedges itself to the tire. Contemplates a dash from my mailbox. 5. The Acatillo are in bloom. Your essence falls from the blossoms, and I feel a sudden urge to call wind spirits to complete a prayer. Your name. A plea to the clouds. 6. Not many people know I used to talk the language of silence, at least before I remembered I had Tijuana brass stuffed in my throat, before I remembered I had an entire funk percussion beneath my tongue. And my mom was right. Let me taste the rhythm, and my tongue don't stop. 7. I asked my librarian what it means to be a book. She says, maybe if you stop talking and yapping, you'd understand silence is the key to words. Try to be a locksmith. I refer to number 6, let her know the cumbia band who rehearses in my mouth practices almost daily. I have to spit their sweat to the sky saucepan. The funk tastes bittersweet. I guess I cannot be a book or a word. I guess silence comes from sound. I guess there's a muse when it rains. I guess I'm a musician after all. 8, I love your brown eyes. How they roam the world like your souls wish to. You are a magnet, I am a fridge. You are not attracted, and the crippled runner still doesn't catch what's running through my mind. I love your brown eyes. And how they never stick to me. 9. I wonder if you have shrines built in your name, if you have burning candles assembled to be offered to the sun. 10. If minutes were years, I'd say I'd spent 30 of them just trying to sound cool. 7. On impersonating Bob Dylan's battle cry. And 24. Realizing I'm no good at keeping track of numbers. And it's been a year and a day, and I still haven't yet to figure out what it does and what it means to eat leftovers of yesterday's feast. 11. You are doomed to marry a poem, my friend Richard says, and I don't disagree. If this poem brings me closer to the music in my chest, closer to the memories I've lost, closer to keeping your eyes fixed on me, this poem is my bride. 12. I talk Spanish to white people and manage to sound more American when I say your name. It's hard loving in 2 languages. Confia en me, trust that I know. 13. I am an open letter. Read me when you are alone. Send me back and don't be afraid of rotting along the margins. I am reusable. 14. The grandmother in my belly found the poems I've devoured and finally acknowledges the nutrition of poetry. She's eating more metaphors and weighing less. She has given me some stored dreams and hand-me-down prophecies. 15. My friend told me his dad made walking sticks out of agave. Do you mind if I chop one down and ask for a stroll? If I ask for a waltz around the neighborhood, for a tango down the sidewalk? If you don't dance, let the cumbia in my mouth guide your feet. 16. I made a new shrine today. Maybe it will stand long enough to be a bookmark of this love I have. I set up the candles, I've called upon the sun. Here are my offerings, a secondhand prophecy, my silence, a roadrunner's feather, and a poem. Maybe you'll read this and send it back with writings across the margins. Maybe you'll feed it to the grandmother in your belly, and maybe someday you will come and tend this garden with me. This garden to you. Thank you.
All right. Wait, do we judge these things?
Huh?
Do we judge these things or what?
We can get scores.
No, we don't do that. All right, so just up next then, we have the musical duo of Wolfgang, Emanuelis, Mozart.
Yes. This should be interesting.
Alright, hi guys, I'm Wolfgang, this is Adam.
Yeah.
And, our poem is called Music, because that's the first word of the poem. Music.
The epitome of despair.
The embodiment of hope.
The falsehood of a prayer.
The pinpoint where happiness flares.
How does one enjoy music when 1,000 souls drill into your head?
How does one not in harmony synergize with melody?
Of all the hatred and loss, why does one have the right to desire such chaos?
Between the boundaries of silence and symphony, a sound can arise from the ashes.
A single scream of demise.
A single calling of justice. Come together in the name of life.
The silence that precedes and succeeds the storm.
Crying for the encore of climax to be repeated.
The shriek of 1,000 deaths upon the battlefield.
Praising enlightenment on the skies.
Upon the gates of hell. If we don't do music, I'll put it out. Salvation comes from the blood and sacrifice, blood and tears, wounds of the fallen, upon the gates of hell.
Gates of heaven! It will be music that holds you close. Look back and see the light of bliss where music sings, grace rises, faith prevails upon the gates of heaven. The day arrives, shine in our blessed lives.
What soundtrack trapped us in our cages? What storm in us rages?
The realm of secrets shall unfold.
the secrets that shouldn't.
Hidden from the truth. Step by step, music carries us
away from our sense of reality, losing ourselves in the
wonders that should not be discovered, scales that lead us up
down
to
from
triumph. Piano, cello,
drums, bass,
clarinet, trumpet,
horn, flute,
accordion, organ,
violin, bells,
guitar, vocals,
saxophone, trombone. In the end, what really matters is the
sound that comes out of your heart, your soul. In the end, what really matters is the shout that comes out of
avarice, animosity. In the end,
what really matters.
Music that contains all.
Revolving around the same notes, same rhythm, same silence that follows.
I really wish I could play accordion. Anyway, our next performer is John Murphy.
So there aren't actually words written on this piece of paper, just sort of a comfort thing. I call this fist bump and reprise, and that doesn't mean anything to any of you, but that doesn't really matter, I guess, does it? They say God's got guardian angels. And then who guards them? Does he? I think they're for himself. Because if God's got guardian angels, well, they must sing then, with golden voices. Honey, I opt for brass. I'd rather a brass band back me up and feel hollow like a bell. Because every ring that goes through me, it reverberates into that hollow. And with every trigger block crafted out of brass, with every doorknob that would shake when I shook it because it wouldn't open by itself because the key got stuck. Maybe he's not the only one with guardian angels hidden in brass. And when I say God's got guardian angels, maybe we have that voice inside of all of us, the one that calls from across a channel of a tile grout. And if the world is a stage, why can't I take my exit now? Who are you to say that you belong, that you have a place with anyone? And let this just be a confession to say that yes, I have stared longingly at 3.5 inches of stainless steel, or to say 7 inches of a that 7 inches of an iron block carved into cylinders and tubes and a handle is not enough for me, but that I'm standing here saying it to you now, that maybe you don't need an angel, just a faulty doorknob.
Hello, everyone. You're seeing us because unfortunately we're running out of time in the day, and sorry to all of the open micers who did not get their chance to show their stuff. I'm sure you have amazing things to say. But some thank yous are in order. We want to thank stage crew for being cool and making sounds work. We want to thank Ms. Sislag, Ms. Mull, Ms. Janik, and all of the administration here at UHS that'll put their day on hold for poetry. Round of applause, guys. We want to thank all the English teachers, all the judges for their hard work, and you guys for being such great audiences. Just give another round of applause for the poets. I mean, it takes a lot of guts to get up here, and everyone did a fantastic job.
I think it's time for the winners.
And we have the winners.
Drum roll.
board that says.
I mean, it's not really suspenseful.
So there's actually a tie for third place. And it's between, I can't read that. Jesse, Christine, I think, and
Jesse and
Anaï.
Jesse.
So the pair of these are sorry if I butchered your name. I believe one of the English teachers has your prize. You're moving the
three.
You guys can come up here if you want and have your moment this time. Yeah. In the light. Second place.
Hey. Right there? Alright, well, second place goes to, if you can see the, Annabella Breck. Arabella Breck.
All right, this year's 2013 UHS Poetry Slam winner, with I believe a perfect 10, is Susan Brenner. If you're there, come up to the stage and get a bag full of stuff.
But remember, the point is the poetry, not the points.
Show for show.
What?